Welcome to another Taz Academy HVAC training video. Today's topic, want to prevent water issues in your furnace installations? Well, here's some tips and tricks that should be used on every install to prevent issues caused by improper draining. Your host is Total Air Supply Technical Support Manager, Randall S. Ripley. The blue color of a natural gas flame results from the combustion process that occurs when natural gas methane interacts with oxygen in the presence of heat. During this reaction, methane combines with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, CO2, and water vapor, H2O, releasing energy in the heat form. And so does natural gas, but we just picked methane for today. In 80% furnaces, this water vapor simply remains a vapor due to the temperature of the flue gases and goes out the flue with the rest of the flue gases. Technicians need to understand that it's crucial to set up condensing furnaces vertically or horizontally so that no condensate can build up anywhere in the system from the secondary heat exchanger to the exit of the vent pipe from the building. The draining of condensing furnaces to prevent water buildup in the secondary heat exchanger and the vent pipe is important because incorrect draining procedures will cause furnace operation issues. The last part of this old plumber's joke can be applied to the draining of condensate from condensing gas furnace drains and vents. They must have a certain amount of pitch towards the direction you want the water to move in. Have you ever seen water move uphill without something pushing it? Me neither. Every heating season, we get many calls from technicians in the field saying the furnace ignites, runs X amount of time, the flame goes out, and the unit immediately goes into another ignition cycle. Or pressure switches fail to close, or pressure switches chatter a clicking noise in the pressure switch. Or the furnace runs but sputters. The flames of the burners can start to recede and lengthen once to several times, which may or may not cause the flame to go out and the unit to recycle. Or high carbon monoxide levels in the flue. Many times these issues are found to be caused by improper draining procedures. Now let's go through some furnace draining procedures that will keep the furnace from having draining issues from the beginning. Some of these tips are common draining requirements from the installation manual, and others are tips learned from issues in the field. Adding the tips learned from issues in the field should be done on every furnace you install to prevent draining issues and callbacks. They add very little time and or cost to the job as you are already there installing the unit. Level vertical units from side to side to prevent trapping of water in the secondary heat exchanger, which can raise CO levels in the flue leading to soot buildup. Trapping water in the secondary heat exchanger can also cause pressure switches to suddenly open or fail to close due to a loss of vacuum pressure caused by water buildup. Once you have leveled the furnace from side to side, place a piece or two of drive stock or wedges made of non-combustible material under each back corner to slightly raise the back of the furnace, causing a slight tilt towards the front. This allows the condensate from the secondary heat exchanger to flow forward to the recuperator cover, secondary heat exchanger, front cover, and into the drain trap. Horizontal furnaces level units lengthwise from end to end for proper flue pipe drainage. If the furnace is not level from end to end, water will build up in the elbow, or it can build up in the whole pipe from the unit to the first 90. And if this happens, obviously the unit is not going to operate. Horizontally, install furnace with a slight tilt, approximately 1/2 to 3/4 inch from back to front, with the access doors downhill from the back panel. Because obviously we want that pitch going from the back to the front again to drain to force the water to roll down to the drain and flow to the recoup cover, front cover, coil, whatever you want to call it, into the trap. And drain trap installed in vertical upflow furnaces. You can drain exiting left or right. The drain hose from the trap to the exit of the furnace can be moved up to accommodate the height of the condensate pump, but enough pitch needs to be left to allow for the condensate to drain. Install a PVC T on the 45-degree barb adapter with a 1-inch to 2-inch standpipe to prevent vacuum lock on the drain trap. The PVC T can be installed either of the ways shown in the picture to the right. You can stick the end over the 45-degree barb adapter and put your standpipe on like the left side, or you can do it like the one on the right. Just put it on there, the standpipe goes up, and you're going to drop right into your condensate pump. The drain pipe does not need to be inserted more than 3/4 of an inch into the pump tank. This is enough to keep water from spilling out onto the floor, but that also will help prevent vacuum lock and stuff by not running it all the way to the bottom. The most important rule of vent draining is the vent pipe must have a pitch of 1/4 inch per linear foot of pipe sloped back towards the furnace. A 20-foot linear run at 1/4 inch of slope per linear foot of pipe would require the furnace end to be 5 inches lower than the terminal end. And that way you've got your nice little downhill flow back towards the furnace. No slope in the vent pipe will cause water to build up in the pipe. This causes a restriction in the flow of the vent gases and will lead to pressure switch issues, causing the unit to shut down. Sagging in the vent pipe will cause water to build up in the pipe. This causes a restriction in the flow of the vent gases and will lead to pressure switch issues, causing the unit to shut down. This is a positive pressure vent, and there can be no flat spots. This building up of the water where that flat spot is, as you see on the left, this positive pressure vent is going to hold that water until there's too much water and it collapses. It causes a momentary flutter and it shuts the unit down. You can't have even a 1 to 2 foot flat spot, because that's the perfect storm, as we say, to build up water in that second elbow where you see it in the picture. And as I said, the water the positive pressure will push against that and hold water for a certain amount of time until there's too much and it shuts the unit down. And you'll note this by the unit will immediately try to relight. So this causes the water to collapse, and that momentary pressure flutter that knocks the burner flames out. And that's, it's going to knock it out, but it's also going to recycle and, immediately and light again. And then it's going to happen again when you get enough water built up. It's going to happen again. If it happens 3 times in one cycle, you'll go into a 1 hour soft lockout. Because the furnace is pitched downward towards the vent, there is going to be issues with the furnace running and water getting back to the drain. Again, you have to have that furnace level from end to end, or you will get water to build up right at the 90 as you see there. The drain elbow of the vent. If you're getting water in the inducer housing, it can only be two things. Is there PVC shavings, dirt, etc., plugging the entrance to the drain in the elbow? Disconnect this hose and insert a screwdriver or anything that will fit into the drain elbow. Wiggle it around and see if water and or PVC shavings come out. If the vent elbow drain is not plugged, you will need to lower the drain elbow like the one on the right to get the water flowing into the drain. As you see, the one on the left is more level, and the drain over on here you see is pitch drop down on the nipple end, so that you notice that now you have a little slack in your drain tube there. But we'll go to that. Some elbows have been factory installed too far up on the vent pipe, making the drain port higher and allowing condensate to enter the inducer. Remember, that inducer, that water is not coming from the secondary heat exchanger, because the hole that the inducer goes over is halfway up the front cover. You'd be plugging every pressure switch and drain in the unit before you ever got up to that hole. Notice the elbow on the left has no pitch to it, while the one on the right slopes towards the drain. So to pull that down, we're going to loosen the two clamps on that drain elbow. Disconnect the hose, and you see here now that you don't have any extra hose there really, and you see how level across the bottom of that trap is at the top. So you grab hold of that vent elbow drain nipple, pull down on it, and wiggle it a little, and pull hard, and hold it in this new position while you retighten the hose clamps. You know you have pulled it down some if the drain stem and the hose to the trap now look like the picture on the right. You see there that you have that little bit of extra on there. Cut the excess tubing, and reconnect the drain. The clamp on the inducer side of the upflow models, upflow installation, should have the clamp screw on top of the elbow, not the bottom. Make sure this hose, where the arrow's pointing, maintains a downward pitch from the front cover drain exit toward the trap. Sometimes the hose is a little long, causing the hose to bow up and slow the drain down. It doesn't take much of a bow at all, because there's not a whole lot of pitch there. Make sure all vacuum hoses are not sagging like the one in this picture. Reroute and or trim the vacuum hoses if necessary so there's no possibility of moisture buildup in them. Notice how the front cover pressure switch hose is trimmed so that from the pressure switch to the front cover there is a continuous downward slope. So even if some water vapor gets in the tube on the off cycle, when it condenses, it will drain out. And that's why also on the hose on your ignition pressure switch on the left, you don't want that sag like that, because when the furnace cycles off and there's water vapor moving around, it can move into that hose, condense, and it's going to drain, and it's going to run down into the trap that you've formed in that hose, and then your pressure switch isn't going to operate. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get all alerts for all new videos that we drop on the channel. And you can do that at our YouTube page at the link below. Thanks for watching. You can watch all Taz Academy videos at our YouTube channel address. And if you have any ideas for videos, please send me an email at randall@totalairsupply.com, and maybe we can make one.